Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and today we are going to take a look at one of Sony's latest TVs. I've got it right here behind me. This is a 4K HDR TV, but don't let the plain cardboard box behind me fool you. This is their BRAVIA XR OLED lineup, specifically the A80K model. And this is actually the first Sony OLED TV that I'll be able to try out. So big thanks to Sony for sending this over for us to check out. As you all know, I am a big fan of OLED displays. Just about every single device I want to have an OLED screen on it. So I'm excited to see what Sony has to offer in the OLED space. I'll do some testing, plug in some consoles. It does have HDMI 2.1. Up to 120 hertz refresh rate. Also quickly show off what comes inside the box, and then we'll take a full look at the design and just the OLED technology in this A80K. Let's get started. Inside the box, you have your standard booklets, a setup guide. You also have your power cable and a back plate, which will cover up your connections on the back of the TV. A closer look at that remote, and yes, it does include batteries, thankfully. Thanks, Sony. Taking a close look, a neat design overall with some various shortcuts to different apps. Pretty small remote in general, but very simple. It does have voice commands for the Google Assistant. You also have some mounting screws if you're not putting it on the legs. And speaking of, next up are those legs. Very sleek looking. They have grip down towards the bottom. Really easy to install. You really just kind of slide it into the TV. There is some plastic, but showing off that design, really sleek looking, and putting the legs on was very easy, like I said. Here's a quick look at the back with kind of a checkered-like design with the black back, and a closer look at all those inputs to USB. You've got a couple different audio slots, also 4 HDMI ports. 2 are noted for that 4K 120 hertz, so just make sure you're inputting your devices in the right slots, including ARC as well. You've got a LAN slot, RS-23K, infrared in, and your cable antenna. On the front, you've got a sticker for the A80K, showing off their XR technology with XR OLED Contrast Pro, Triluminous Pro. Peeling that off, let's run through the setup process. You can set up Google TV or Basic TV, which obviously you're going to want to go with Google TV to get all of those apps and such. Google TV's been around for a while, so I'll talk about anything noteworthy throughout the setup process of our Sony TV. First of all, there is a mic switch at the bottom of the TV to turn on or off a microphone. So it does have voice recognition built into it, so you don't even need to use that remote if you don't want to. You have power saving, you can go from low, high, or off. You can measure the acoustics of the room, and if you're planning on using the speakers in this TV, I recommend doing so because it actually has triple actuators which will vibrate and produce sound from the entire screen. It's actually a really neat technology that will vibrate the screen, and so the sound isn't just coming from one spot, it's coming from the entire screen towards you. On top of Chromecast, you have Apple AirPlay and HomeKit built in. Pretty much a must in a TV for me. Now that we're all set up and ready to go, we are on the home screen of the Google TV platform. I don't want to dive too much into it since it's been around for a while. Overall, I don't mind Google TV. It categorizes things. It can seem a little cluttered at times, but it has been very responsive, and Sony's processor has done a good job at swapping between different apps. Here's a quick example of using the remote as a microphone. What's the weather going to be like today? Side note, I do like the remote. However, it doesn't have any backlighting, so if I'm watching something in the dark, a little bit harder to see. However, if you turn on the voice commands on the TV, you can just use those, so you don't even need to reach for the remote. Within settings, you can completely customize your picture mode, your sound settings. Within picture mode, they have presets, but you can also fine-tune the different brightnesses, color, contrast, all that good stuff. And after watching a few shows, checking out some videos as well, I'm very impressed with this display. It looks great. Can't complain about the colors, the viewing angles. Of course, it being an OLED display, when you're watching content with a black backdrop or anything that's really dark, it looks incredible. I also noticed when using the TV speakers, it sounded great. One of the better TV speakers that I've heard. However, I myself connected to surround sound, but if you're looking for TV speakers, that technology using the full panel is really intuitive. And when it comes to gaming, you do have HDMI 2.1 to take advantage of variable refresh rate, all those features like 4K 120 hertz on your PS5 or your latest Xbox. And I really have no complaints at all when gaming, especially because I have used other OLED TVs with that low latency and such, and I can't notice a difference. It's very responsive when using a controller, especially when I'm playing faster paced games. It's been really nice playing games on this TV. You did, at least when I used my Xbox, had to dive into HDMI settings to make sure it was using the full variable refresh rate, low latency mode. But once I had that in place, it was completely responsive. Now, there isn't a cinema setting. However, if you do watch a lot of Netflix, they have a Netflix adaptive calibrated mode to calibrate the show based on how it was actually made to be watched. And on top of that, you have support for Dolby Vision as well. One of the only things that I have to say about this OLED TV is that I just wish it got a little bit brighter. I'm in a room, at least during the day, it gets fairly bright. And I've just noticed that there are other OLED TVs out there that do get brighter. However, those might be a little bit more expensive. So you might just be sacrificing a little bit of that brightness, and it will bring down the cost. But, you know, I still don't have complaints about it in a bright room. I've just noticed that there are other TVs out there, OLED TVs, that do get brighter. So it's not necessarily a complaint, just something that I noticed. Overall, I've been really happy with the Sony A80K OLED TV. You do have those deep blacks. With it being OLED, the colors are very true, very accurate. They're saturated to a good amount. And of course, you can completely customize the way it looks with those presets and the different modes. And when it comes to the design, it just looks good on my TV stand as well. So well done, Sony. A very solid OLED TV option if you are in the market, the Sony A80K 4K OLED TV. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. More content coming soon. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.